Yeah, I'm gonna start this video out with talking about, I have the old dealer sign from Holland Equipment there. I've got a lot of signs hanging in here. I've probably never showed much, but I've got one of the original white recommended fluids and lubricants, and a 2135 original. All these came from Holland's. And my uncle, of course, had a 2135 gray stripe like that one there. And we got the 4210 that came from Holland's, which is an original. And then also, I picked this one up, 6125. It's front wheel assist, but my uncle had a 6125. Got a Moline NTX original Victory sign up there. I've got some different ones that I've gotten over the years. And so yeah, I'm pretty happy. I made some copies of some literature and hung them. So anyway, my point in showing you all these is, I think most of you are aware that I have a bet with Moline Dan. If you're not watching Moline Dan, you should probably like and subscribe him, because he does a lot of stuff with Molines, and we're doing kind of the same thing, but he does it a little different than I do, and we both complement each other. But we made up a little bet here at the Napanee show, where Ohio State Michigan game, we're going to the loser has to wear the opposing team's shirt. And so that's coming up here. But I found myself here in the last week walking out here every day and just checking all my signs that I got hanging up, make sure they're all still here, because I'm a little concerned with everything that's in the news right now about, I got to come out and look at all these, make sure that nobody's stealing my signs, because that seems to be a problem up with Michigan football these days. It's kind of bad. I gotta make sure the alarm is set in the barn, and then I come out and I count them and just make sure that nobody's buying tickets and filming and then stealing my signs. Dan, I think you'd probably appreciate this little clip here. Until the Michigan-Ohio State game. All right, I came home from work today and had a nice package from Dean Zingray. I really appreciate Dean being quick. But what he sent me was this line here. The metal line just was not, I couldn't get it cleaned out. So I just, he made me up a rubber line, the 90s, and take the place of the steel line. So I've got that on, and I've got the tank hanging. I'm gonna try to get it up in there without any issues. I had my man Nick Ohio M here with me this weekend, and he helped me by driving all my tractors around. I wish I would have had this one going for him, because I think he would have liked driving the big 950, but he'll come back, and we'll have some more fun. So I'm gonna work on winching this thing up and try not to break off the valves or anything on this side, getting it levered in there. Again, I'm using the gantry because I watched Moline Dan do this with his sons, and I talked to him later about it, and I said, you know, that tank looked pretty heavy, and he said it was, and he said there were maybe some words that he had to edit out as they put it back in. So I don't want to do that, so I'm going to try to do it nice and slow using the gantry. Just lower it down in there and get it set. Putting the back bolts in this thing is a real pain, so I'm not looking forward to that, but I am looking forward to getting the tank set. I've got this line kind of laying in there because I'll have to put it on after it's in there, and then the line that goes around the back of the tank I have to put on after it's in there. The way the chain comes around in front of the tank, I'm afraid it's going to crush that line. I don't want to do that. So we're going to work on getting this thing in here. All right, I should have been filming this whole process, but it's been a little bit slow because I've been going slow, trying not to mess anything up. The hard part about this is the way the valves go in there, and the way that bar runs across there that goes to the brakes. I had to basically have the supports on this side up on either side of the valve cover here pushed forward. I had to stack blocks of wood up and let it down slowly so that those supports sat on that blocks of wood and tip the whole tank to get the supports underneath or the valves underneath that bar. Once I got that, I was able to knock out the wood and then let it down slow. And then I was able to get the back bolts in on either side. So now I'm down to, and the other thing I forgot in taking this apart is, you can see there the lines that come from the tank, they go underneath the 3-speed thing, and that line connects underneath there, and I'd forgotten that. So I gotta get the tank set, and I'm gonna fish this underneath the 3-speed, this line, and then get that hooked up, and then yeah, then I'm doing good. I think everything else is lined up right now. I don't think that the throttle cable, I think it's okay. I don't think it's pinched. Just trying to make sure nothing is getting messed up here, because I don't know how Dan did this with him and his son on one side, or on either side, and then Nicholas guiding it in on theirs, but that was a feat, and pretty impressive feat. Although my tank is about 1/3 full right now, so it adds a little bit of weight to it, but still, impressive feat. All right, it's the next evening. Came home from work. I kind of screwed up in my mess of things around here, and I'm embarrassed that things are such a mess. Somehow I misplaced my other cap for that. So I had to go to the hardware store today and get a cap. So today I put the cap on and got out my dish soap bottle with mostly water and a little bit of dish soap in it, or dishwashing machine fluid, I think is the correct term. And I turned on my vapor, and I did have a couple, I had some bubbles at the T down here underneath, but I tightened those, and it's crazy how tight I already had them, and it was just like very little increments to get the bubbles to stop. And then before, when there's my dishwasher fluid. This one, I had some trouble with it, and tonight I did too. I got it, I mean, it's like, I'm so tight, but it definitely stopped. I hosed everything down, and as of right now, I don't think I have any leaks. I did, so Dean, when he sold me the stuff, said for the valves, he sends these extensions along, so it's easier to get at the valves. And I thought, oh, that's gonna hit the gear shift, so I put, you know, the old caps back on where you can barely get a hold of them. That's what he's talking about, they're up so close. But there's the gear shift, you know, that's about as close as it gets. So it's okay, and you can definitely get a hold of those valves. So I'm pretty happy with those. And climb up here. Yep, I'm showing half full on my gauge. I thought it was less than that, but then again, it was kind of cold the day we put it in, so it's probably heated up a little bit. So my buddy Shane was working on cutting out, so I had one shield to go underneath here for this side. I was missing the one on the other side. Had a diesel one, he cut that out today, and then the other thing he's doing is the seat back. So the metal around that holds the seat back had rotted out on the one that I'd gotten, but I already had metal made because it's basically the same seat back as the Jetstars and the 302s. So I already had pieces cut from the last time he did a seat for me, and he's working on those today, so I can get those going. Want to kind of go drive this, but it's 78 degrees and it's October 24th, and I need to probably go cut the grass rather than play with a tractor. So one other thing I did here in the last couple days, and yes, this is the mess that I'm talking about, why I may be missing things. Did pick up this Oliver grill from Chad Prissel, that came today. Chris Quatman sent me the 3-speed filter. So on mine, the part there where it screws in was snapped off. So he sent me this, but while I had it off, and it was pretty rusty looking, didn't look so good, I decided to paint it. And so that's something I did last night, and it's not like the best paint job. I just kind of wire wheeled it and then hit it with the Case IH Federal Yellow, which I think you generally, but it'll look better than it did. That was just a solid rust looking piece there. So a little bit of progress. If Shane gets me that seat back, I can quick sandblast it and get it painted here in the next couple days, and get it painted while I still got good warm weather to let paint cure. And yeah, I'm ready to go out and drive this thing around some. Maybe I can see if that front end will knock loose when I'm out driving it. I'm not sure. I still got fluid setting down in the bottom half of the axle. You can see it reflecting, so I know it's got fluid in it. So yeah, get the hoods on this. It'll look kind of cool. I've not driven it with the hoods on to get the seat back on. Just slowly but surely this thing's coming together. It'd be kind of fun to plow with it this fall, but if I can't get the front set in, I probably won't do that. But right now I need to quit talking and I need to go mow. So until I get back out here and do a little bit more on this, we'll see you maybe tomorrow night. All right, I cut the grass last night, finished cutting the grass tonight because it got dark on me. This evening, I think what I'm going to do real quick here, just for fun, I just put the gantry back over where it goes to get it out of the way. But I think I'm going to get out the buffer with some rubbing compound, and I'm just going to try it on the tank, maybe just the side of the fender, and on the front shields here on both sides, and just see what some rubbing compound and the buffer will do. I think it'll I think it's going to bring it back. It's going to give it a little shot, and there's a million other things I could do, like pick up tools all over. But I really want to know what the buffing is going to do on this thing to make it look good. So that's what I'm going to do instead. So I didn't get as far along tonight as I wanted. Jay, who farms the ground behind us, was cutting the beans back there tonight, and he just stopped by to say hello. And so now I'm just going to only get this one side done. But it's kind of hard to tell up here on the front, but that polished up pretty good, seeing how it kind of looked dull and like that before I polished it. I think on the side of the propane tank, you can see it's got a pretty good shine going to it. I might hit it just a little bit more, and I'll probably bring that back. And then on the fender up here, if you look at this dull paint as opposed to, it's got a pretty good shine to it now. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I think this thing is going to buff out pretty nice. I tell you, buffing out, because that's what I did on the 302 propane. The yellow I kind of left original, and now I just repainted the white, and that's kind of my plan on this 950. It's just kind of buff out as much of the yellow that I can, make it look shiny, and then just do the white and kind of leave this one more original. Luckily it's so straight that I think it's going to look really good. I'll repaint the wheels and stuff like that, but just as a comparison to the other side, you can see how dull this is, this paint is over here. So yep, that's going to be it for tonight, though. I've run out of time, and I have a million other things I could be doing, but I just had to see how that was going to look, because that's really encouraging to me to see that I think this thing's going to polish up and look pretty nice when I'm done with it. So after a little polishing last night, I couldn't resist coming home tonight and starting the 950 propane and testing out to see if I have 3-speed. So right now I've got it low. So let's see if you can see it jerk there, but that's, I guess, direct or whatever you want to call it. And then we'll go to high. So I've got 3-speed. 4x4, nothing crazy. Should probably be using a 6x6 because it just acted like nothing going over that. Could go put a front tire against the... Nah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to run over this a couple more times and then yeah, it helps if you put it in gear. That tie rod's barely on there. I had taken it off and then didn't want to go back in very good. The tie rods are all bent up on this thing. I have new tie rods. I just don't want to put them on until I put the new, or until I narrow it up. All right, my 4x4 is basically ground into the gravel. Come on, baby. I don't know why she was struggling there. Doesn't like reversing. Alright, I'm going to start this video outside. As you can see, it's getting dark. Picked up my seat from Shane today, the seat back for the 950, and I'm out here painting it tonight, rattle canning it. But he replaced basically this whole section along there was rotted out on both sides, which they do. So looks pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. And then Oliver Phil went up to Mayball's today. Mayball White Oliver Agco. And I've been looking on the other A4T. I'm missing the back window. And I've been comparing it to 4150s. And so they happen to have a 4150 rear frame and glass in it. So we did the measurements. I think it's going to work. We're going to try to make that work on the other A4T when we put it back together next spring. So Oliver Phil picked that up for me, which I truly appreciate. And then I've been working on the 950 today, just putting bodywork back on. I had to put some helicoils in the bolts that hold the straps that hold the bubble nose on. Got the bubble nose on. The side screens, I resurrected the old screen, used screws to hold it on. Got my air cleaner that I had painted on there. The hoods, I ordered a bunch more of these bolts. Normally I keep bags of those in stock and I'm out, so I'm using the old ones, and when those come in I will replace them. And then one of the things I picked up from Oliver Phil today was I didn't have a cover for this side, so we took an old cover off of a diesel and Shane cut it for me, and so it fits on there. I think it looks pretty good, matches up. He did add the extra bolt hole down there. The one I can't get in is this one that goes to the plate behind there that holds, has to do with the 3-speed lever, and I almost need somebody else here to push it up because it's kind of bent back. Push it up so I can get that bolt in. But and then we'll walk around to the other side. So this side looked a lot better, but I'm definitely going to have to do something with the white on both sides of these and on these side covers. This side cover went on. The one thing, I get the whole side cover and I realized I forgot to put my new handle, which goes from there to there, on there, and I'll have to do that tomorrow. There's just more to that than I originally thought. So anyway, I think looking a little more complete, a little more like a tractor again. And the bubble nose, I do have the white insert that says white on it for the front, but it's completely white right now. I need to get a black background on it, which is, I think I can do a decal thing like I normally do. Another breakthrough today, which you'll probably have to work on tomorrow, is I've got a puddle of my penetrating stuff that I got soaking, and that is dripping from the bottom side. So that says to me that my penetrant's made it in, and then it's made it all the way back and it's dripping. So I might be able to work on this tomorrow and see if I can break this free. It'd be great if I could get this narrowed up, get my new tie rods on, because this one's obviously in bad shape. And yeah, then I could really, well, they say I'd be cooking with fire at that point in time. So looks pretty good. Sitting next to the 302 propane. I just, you know, just plugging away at this one, trying to get more done on it. Oliver Phil also did pick up for me from Mayballs a spring, the clutch spring, return spring or whatever. So it goes down here. Actually, I need to work on the way it attaches, but it attaches to the platform and it holds your clutch pedal up so that's not riding on the throwout bearing down there. Right there's the throwout bearing where it would normally be, and then the spring just holds it up so it's not constantly hitting on your throwout bearing. So kind of important. So right now, I can't wait to get that seat finished, get it painted, get it on here to complete that. I need to buff out the fenders. So yeah, I got my work cut out for me, but I think that this tractor is coming along nicely. So until tomorrow, just thought I'd catch you up on everything I did today. A lot of little things. It just took a lot of time. Getting those side shields to fit was a little bit of a pain because I need to put more helicoils and a lot of stuff stripped out, but I've got time. So until tomorrow. Definitely one thing that would have been nice when I was working on this seat is if I would have had Nick Ohio MM here. Nick Ohio MM's got small hands, small arms. He could have helped a lot getting in underneath that seat to get those bolts on. So I wish he would have been here this weekend to help me out with that. But instead, I shoved my big fat hands in there and it was not fun. So Nick, next time you're here, I'll see if I can find jobs for you with that you can do better than I can. All right, Sunday afternoon. Did a little bit more work on the G950 today. Not as much as I wanted to get done, as always, but got some more done. I did get the seat back on. It seems to sit a little bit low. I don't know. But it's, I'm going to say that these are not fun seats to put on because in order to get that seat back on, I can trip over all my stuff to get back here. You got to go up underneath here and then go on the inside between there. And anyway, there is not really enough room in there for a person with regular size hands to do that. So that was, there were maybe a few words exchanged when I was trying to do that. But, you know, it's, what are you going to do? This week, I'm going to take the hood off. I'm going to work on retapping this, this hole here. And so I can get my handrail across there because this is not an easy tractor to get off and on. There's just no, without a place here to grab, it's kind of a pain to get off and on. This is just a weird dynamic of getting on there. One thing I also forgot to mention I did yesterday is I did change the filter in the hydraulic tank here. So it's just the lid that you take off. The filter fits down in there. It's got some O-rings on it, and then there's an O-ring on the top, and you put it back on and screw it all down. There's wing nuts on it. So I guess I could show you, but it's kind of a pain taking the bubble nose off. And I thought since this side was dripping fluid that maybe I could free it up today. Turns out no. So I jacked it up I put a chain with a binder, a ratchet binder on it to the rear axle. And there's a lot of tension on it. And I tapped on it a few times. Well, not really tapped. I hit it a few times with the sledgehammer to see if I could shock it. So far, no luck there. So I'm just going to leave that on there for some tension. And, you know, I'll whack it a few times during the nights this week. And what else did I do? I did drive it out, and I put it up, the front wheels against the wheels of the A4T and kind of bounced against it. That didn't do any good for me. So it's just kind of where I'm at right now. I did some other miscellaneous jobs, but that's about all I've accomplished on this this weekend. I do think it looks like a whole tractor getting out with all the hoods on it, the shields around the propane tank. Definitely liking the way it looks. I wish I could get that front end narrowed up, get the right right links on the front there, and I just mind blanked on the tie rods. The right tie rods on there, get everything the way that it should be, but that'll come with time. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I think that's going to be it for this video, because this week, like I said, all I'm going to be doing is maybe tapping a couple holes and putting some threads in there to make this bodywork go on a little bit easier. And other than that, I'm just going to keep tapping on this front end and hope at some point it breaks free. I haven't used heat yet. I'm going to hold off on that a little bit, see if I can get it without heat, although I know I'm going to end up using heat because I've done this before. And yeah, and I thought about putting the white insert in the front of the bubble nose here, but I'm going to end up probably painting the top portion of this yellow like it should be next summer. And I think with that in there, it's going to be harder to mask off. So I might hold off on that. I don't know. I don't know if you can see there kind of the shine I got on the hood. I could probably buff on it a little bit more and get it to come back a little bit more. So I want to buff on the rear fenders too. I need to take the radio off the fender back there and just little things. But, well, I think that's going to be it for today. And been winterizing things, and winterized the hot water pressure washer back there earlier today. Got it full of antifreeze and putting sea foam and everything and stabilizer in the fuel. But you know what's nice about propanes? You don't got to worry about the fuel. Although with new antifreeze and that, I know the antifreeze is good in that. So that's where we're at. I will catch you up maybe next weekend. We'll get another video made and see where I'm at. If I can get this front end broke free, I can tell you exactly what we'll be doing next weekend. Making that thing a little bit narrower. It's supposed to be a plow day next Sunday. Definitely be a video if we can do it, although it rained quite a bit today. So we'll just have to see how the week goes, and if it dries up enough that we can actually plow. I won't be plowing with that because I don't think the biggest I have is a 3-bottom full mount. I think it's set on 14s, and I'm just not sure that that's the right move. Plus the fact I can't get the 3-point to go down on that yet. So, all right. I appreciate everybody watching. Please like and subscribe, and we're going to keep going down this Moline road together.